When I saw President Trump up on the roof of the White House yesterday, I kept thinking about Batman. The guy looking out over his kingdom, surveying the land. Not kingdom. Boy, that'll get me in trouble. He's not a king. Stop it. Don't start mouthing off. He's the president of the United States, and he's Batman. He's up there. That was the thing. Hit the theme, Eric. That's what I had playing in my head when I saw him up there, because he's only one Batman. Mark Davis asked me this morning, do you think he's the Val Kilmer Batman? I said, no. Is he the Christian Bale Batman? No. Is he the George Clooney? No. He's only one Batman. This Batman. Adam West. He's got camp. He's got humor. He's got a twinkle in his eye. Pow! Splat! I used to love that. You know what I loved about the Batman TV series? It was so hokey when they would pretend to like they were climbing up a building. They just turned the camera sideways and made it look like they were climbing up a rope. Batman and Robin were going up the building when they were just walking normally, just crouched over. Well, Batman strikes again. Some breaking news to share with you about our economy. Apple is going to commit another $100 billion towards domestic manufacturing. This, of course, was Apple caving because Trump was promising to hit them with tariffs. This fresh pledge includes funding that is aimed at boosting Apple's capability to produce more of the critical components needed for its iPhones and other products within the United States, according to Bloomberg and the New York Post. Now, this is in addition to the other $500 billion committed by Apple to the United States over the next 4 years. They're going to build out a manufacturing plant in Houston. It's huge, huge news. And again, another win for Batman. Batman does it again. Now, you want me to... No, there are people that every day I'll get an email from some cranky person who says, you're such a Trump toady. All you are is, you're in his pocket. All you do is you're a sycophant. Want me to be critical? I can be critical. I can do it. It's going to be painful, but I can do it. Can anybody give me a single reason why it's a good idea for taxpayer money to be used to build a nuclear reactor on the surface of the moon? When I first saw this story, I thought it was from the Babylon Bee. And again, I'm no smart guy here. I admit it. I'm not always the sharpest knife in the drawer. So maybe somebody can explain why we need a nuclear reactor built on the surface of the moon. I'm so confused by this. The Trump administration evidently wants this. Boy, good thing Chuck Jewell still isn't the general manager in Houston. He'd be upset with me for saying anything critical about the space program. Years ago, nice guy, but he complained. Chuck was mad that I was questioning our investment in NASA. And I admit, I've got kind of a blind spot here. I know there are many people in the Houston area who work for NASA, and I don't want to dump on how you make a living. I really don't. And we've had great memorable moments. Neil Armstrong, I get that. I've never been a space guy, which is interesting considering my dear friend Mark Davis, who lives and breathes this stuff. Personally, I just kind of feel like we got things domestically that we got to prioritize over flying around in spaceships and rocket ships and building a nuclear reactor on the moon. I know it sounds kind of fun and it's sci-fi and James Bondish, maybe. Why in the world, what in heaven's name do we need to fund a nuclear reactor facility on the surface of the moon. What's the point? I'm sure there's an explanation. Somebody in Houston will probably tell me. Poor Chuck will call, even though he's retired, and complain that Mike is bashing space program again. Chuck said he couldn't even go to church without everybody in church yelling at him because Mike Gallagher was anti-space. Now, I kind of think that's a dubious claim. I would think people going to church have more important things to worry about, but that's just me. And I admit, going in, know that I have kind of a bias here. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. Don't worry, we're going to spend 3 minutes on it, if that. But somebody's got to tell me what the purpose or point or reason is for the construction of a nuclear facility on the surface of the moon. Because, dummy me, my initial reaction, it's one of the dopiest things I've ever heard in my life. Adrian is in Fort Lee, New Jersey, which is where we shall start. Adrian, how are you?
Hi. Oh, I don't believe it. I'm on the air.
I can't believe it. You are.
From New York City.
We put you first. How are you?
Oh, wish I could say better, but anyway.
Uh-oh.
I have one simple answer for you.
I don't like to hear that.
No, China, you've heard things about China wants to colonize the moon. If we don't do it, and I agree with you wholeheartedly, we don't need a nuclear reactor on the moon, but if we don't do it, China and Russia will beat us to it. Just think about it.
Well, wait a minute. So help me out. China wants to colonize the moon?
I've heard that before. Yeah, I've heard that on different programs.
I did not know that. I learn something every day. Well, I would think it wasn't going to be a very fun place to live, but maybe you could build an apartment complex up there. Again, I'm a simple guy. I admit it. Jonathan's in Tampa, Florida. Jonathan, are you in favor of us building a nuclear reactor on the moon?
Yes, I am, Mike. I certainly am.
Why is that?
I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Because President Trump knows a lot more than we do, and he has a vision that we don't have. And I think that he has gone through enough for us to trust him with this. If he's coming up with a reason for coming up with a plan, there's a reason for it, is what I think.
I got you. And maybe it has something to do with the Space Force, which he unveiled. You know, maybe
I think so.
Maybe, perhaps. Look, I get it. I'm the guy that invites people to order Trust Trump merchandise on the Mike Gallagher Show website, mikeonline.com. But I have this weird opposition to all things space exploration. It's fun to watch Star Trek. I get it. I'm a fan. I love the Star Wars movies, you know? But we got real pressing problems here on Earth. Specifically, we have real pressing problems in the United States of America. We got this redistricting thing going on. We got all kinds of stuff that we got to deal with. Building a nuclear reactor on the moon does not seem to be a very somebody said they think it might be for this the missile resistance kind of Golden Dome thing that Trump has in mind for us. And that's back to the other point Jonathan made. Hey, trust him. 800-655-Mike, 15 past the hour. More coming up on this Wednesday. I knew I'd step in it. Chuck is on the phone right now in Houston calling everybody he can to complain about me. I'm in trouble again. And Chuck was always so nice to me.
For full shows, live and on demand, it's Salem News Channel.